Namaskaram. Have you ever wondered why at times life isolates you? Why, despite your efforts to hold on to people, situations, and comforts, they slip away? Some call it fate. Some call it misfortune. But what if I tell you it is divine intervention? Aloneness is not a punishment, it is a passage to something greater. If you observe nature, the mightiest trees stand alone, reaching for the sky. The deepest oceans exist in solitude, yet they hold unimaginable treasures. When you are alone, you are not lost, you are found. It is in solitude that the highest wisdom is born. Silence does not mean emptiness, it means clarity. God does not push people away from you. He clears the distractions so that you may see yourself. When you are alone, you are not truly alone. You are in the presence of something far greater than you can comprehend. The problem is most people misunderstand solitude. They think being alone means being abandoned, unloved, or forgotten. But what if it is the exact opposite? Look at the moments when life pulls you away from people, distractions, and noise. Have you ever noticed how, in those moments, there is an opportunity to truly see? The world has a way of filling our minds with endless chatter, expectations, responsibilities, opinions. You wake up and immediately engage with the outside world, rarely stopping to ask, who am I beyond all this? What is my purpose? Where am I going? When you are constantly surrounded by people, their voices become louder than your own. You live for their approval, their validation, their acceptance, but when everything falls silent, something deeper starts to speak. It is not loneliness, it is clarity. The silence of being alone is not empty, it is full of answers. In every great transformation, there is first a moment of solitude. A seed does not grow in a crowd, it is buried alone in the soil, in darkness before it breaks through and reaches the sky. The butterfly does not emerge in front of an audience, it transforms in isolation within its cocoon. The great beings who walked this earth, whether they sought wisdom, strength, or enlightenment, found it not in the marketplace, not in the crowd, but in the stillness of their own presence. But solitude is uncomfortable for most because it forces them to face themselves. And that is where the real fear lies. It is easy to lose yourself in the noise of the world, but when you are alone, you see yourself clearly. Every strength, every weakness, every unhealed wound, it all becomes visible. This is why many run from solitude, filling every moment with distractions. But if you resist being alone, you resist the opportunity to grow. Being alone is not isolation, it is invitation. It is an invitation to meet yourself without masks, without roles, without pretense. It is an invitation to connect with something beyond the physical, beyond the temporary. The highest wisdom, the deepest love, and the greatest peace are all found in this space. If you can sit in that silence and not run from it, if you can embrace the stillness instead of fearing it, you will realize you were never truly alone. Something far greater has been with you all along. If a cup is already full, nothing new can be poured into it. No matter how pure or valuable the liquid is, it will simply spill over. This is how most people live, completely filled with noise, attachments, desires, and expectations. When life starts to take things away, most people resist. They see loss as suffering, emptiness as pain. But what if that emptiness is the very thing preparing you for something greater? Imagine a farmer who wants to plant a new crop. Before he does, he must first clear the old, remove the weeds, and prepare the soil. If he does not, the new seeds will have no space to grow. Life works the same way. Sometimes what we call loss is simply life clearing the field. The relationships that fade, the opportunities that disappear, the identities that no longer fit, all of these are being removed so something new can take root. When the ocean pulls back its waves, it is not retreating, it is gathering strength to rise again. When the moon disappears from the sky, it is not gone forever. It is simply preparing for a new cycle. But human beings, unlike the ocean and the moon, often struggle to trust this process. Instead of allowing life to empty them, they hold on, afraid of what will happen if they let go. This fear of emptiness is the greatest barrier to transformation. If you are full of past burdens, where is the space for something fresh? If you are clinging to broken relationships, how can you receive true love? If your mind is filled with opinions, beliefs, and unnecessary fears, where is the space for wisdom? Many times, the very things we refuse to let go of are the ones holding us back. Life does not take anything from you without purpose. It removes only what is no longer needed, even if you do not yet understand why. The river does not resist when it is redirected. It simply flows, trusting that the path ahead will lead it where it needs to go. If life is taking something away, do not see it as a punishment. See it as preparation. Because only when there is space can something new enter. Only when the cup is empty can it be filled again. Strength is not found in comfort, nor is it built in the company of many. True strength arises in solitude, in the moments when no one is watching, when there is no applause, no validation, no reassurance. It is in these moments that life tests you, that you come to know yourself beyond the roles and expectations placed upon you. Look at the great forces of nature. The mountain stands tall, unshaken by the winds. The eagle flies alone above the clouds, not seeking the company of smaller birds. The lion walks alone, not because it cannot be with others, but because it does not need to be. This is the nature of true power. It does not depend on numbers, it does not seek approval, and it does not fear being alone. But human beings have been conditioned to believe that strength comes from being surrounded by people, from having a constant source of support. While companionship is valuable, there will be moments when life strips away all external support, leaving you with nothing but yourself. This is not cruelty, this is an opportunity. Because only when you have nothing to lean on do you discover the depth of your own resilience. The warrior does not become strong on the battlefield. He becomes strong in the silent hours of training where no one is there to encourage him. The tree does not grow tall because of what is seen above the ground. It grows because of the roots it has developed in the unseen darkness below. Strength is cultivated in solitude, in the moments when you face yourself without distraction, without escape. Most people seek comfort in numbers, believing that togetherness is security. But those who have truly understood life know that strength is not in the crowd, it is in the ability to stand alone when needed. It is easy to follow the path that many have taken. It requires no courage, no conviction. But to walk a path that is your own, to hold firm even when no one stands beside you, that is true strength. When life places you in solitude, it is not to weaken you, but to awaken you. It is to show you that the foundation of your strength does not lie outside of you, but within you. If you can stand strong in your own presence without seeking validation, without fearing loneliness, then you have found a strength that nothing in this world can take away. Separation is one of the deepest pains a human being can experience. Whether it is the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or the distance between you and someone you once held close, it creates a hollow space within. Most people see this as suffering, as something unfair, as a wound that refuses to heal. But what if this pain is not meant to break you, but to transform you? Look at the way life moves. Nothing is truly lost, only rearranged. The tree sheds its leaves, not because it is dying, but because it is preparing for new growth. The river changes course, not because it has lost its way, but because it is finding a greater flow. Every ending is not destruction, it is redirection. But human beings, unlike nature, resist this process. We cling to what was, refusing to accept what is, and in that resistance we suffer. When people leave your life, it is often not because something has gone wrong, but because their role in your journey is complete. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to stay forever. Some people are like bridges. They help you cross to the next phase of your life, but you cannot carry the bridge with you. Others are like mirrors. They reflect something you needed to see, but once the lesson is learned, the mirror is no longer needed. The pain of separation forces you to look within, to find a deeper connection that is not dependent on external attachments. It teaches you that love is not about possession, but about flow. When you hold on too tightly, you strangle what is meant to breathe. But when you allow things to come and go, you move in harmony with life itself. If you look closely, the times you have grown the most were often the times you lost something. Because loss creates space. And in that space, something new can emerge. The pain of separation is not punishment, it is preparation. It is life teaching you that you are whole, even when everything you once depended on is taken away. Because real connection is not found in clinging, but in allowing. Being alone is not what most people fear, it is meeting themselves in that solitude that unsettles them. This is why so many seek distractions, filling every moment with noise, people, and activity. The moment they are left in silence, an uneasiness rises within. But why? Because in that silence there is no escape. There is only you face to face with everything you have ignored, buried, or run from. Most people construct identities based on how others see them. They are someone's child, someone's friend, someone's partner. They wear masks, some to gain acceptance, some to hide pain, and some to feel a sense of belonging. But when you are alone, those masks fall away. You are left with the truth of who you really are, beyond the roles, beyond the expectations. And for many, this is uncomfortable because they have never truly met themselves. But this discomfort is not something to run from, it is an invitation. It is a doorway to transformation. When you sit in your own presence without seeking distraction, you begin to understand yourself in a way that no amount of external validation can provide. You see your fears clearly, your insecurities, your wounds, but also your strength, your potential, your depth. Look at the moments in life when you were forced into solitude. Maybe it was after a heartbreak, after a failure, or in a time of deep uncertainty. In those moments there was pain, yes, but also clarity. You discovered parts of yourself you never knew existed. You realize that you are capable of enduring, of healing, of growing. Most people fear loneliness because they associate it with emptiness. But aloneness is not emptiness, it is a space where truth can emerge. It is where you learn to be whole without needing anyone to complete you. It is where you learn to trust yourself, to stand in your own presence without fear. When life places you in solitude, it is not to punish you, it is to reveal you to yourself. It is a gift if you have the courage to receive it, because only when you truly know yourself can you walk through the world with real confidence, with real peace, and with real freedom. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. The sky does not rush to change colors at sunset, nor does the river force its way to the ocean. Everything moves in its own time, in perfect harmony with existence. Yet human beings struggle with stillness. They are always in motion, always chasing, always restless. They fear that if they stop, if they become still, they will be left behind. But in truth, it is in stillness that life truly unfolds. Look at the mightiest tree. It does not run from place to place seeking the sun. It stands rooted, absorbing everything it needs from where it is. The mountain does not chase the clouds, yet the clouds come and go around it. The moon does not cry for attention, yet its presence lights up the night. Strength, beauty, and wisdom exist in stillness and simply being. But people struggle with stillness because they mistake it for inaction. They believe that if they are not constantly doing something, they are wasting time. But the greatest transformations do not happen in activity, they happen in silence. A seed does not grow because it is moving, it grows because it is still, absorbing everything in the darkness of the soil before it emerges into the light. A caterpillar does not transform into a butterfly by running around. It does so in complete stillness, within the cocoon hidden from the world. When you are forced into solitude, when life slows you down, it is not a sign that you are stuck. It is a sign that something deeper is happening, but instead of embracing this, most people panic. They try to force movement, to fill the silence, to escape the stillness. But what if this stillness is exactly what they need? In silence, in solitude, the greatest wisdom is revealed. The most profound realizations come not in noise, but in quiet moments when the mind is at rest. The deepest healing does not happen when you are running from your pain, but when you sit with it and allow yourself to feel. Stillness is not emptiness. It is the space where life speaks. And if you can learn to be still, to embrace the silence rather than resist it, you will find that everything you were chasing was always within you. Throughout history, those who have found the greatest wisdom, the deepest truths, and the most profound clarity did not find them in the noise of the world, but in solitude. There's something about being alone that opens a doorway to something higher. When distractions are removed, when the endless chatter of society fades, a space is created, a space where something beyond the ordinary can enter. Consider those who sought enlightenment, understanding, or strength. They did not find it in crowded marketplaces, in the opinions of others, or in the comforts of familiarity. They withdrew, they became silent, they embraced solitude not as isolation, but as a path to something greater. When the mind is no longer consumed by trivialities, it becomes receptive to something more profound. But solitude is not easy. Most people resist it because it feels uncomfortable at first. Without external noise, they are left with their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own uncertainties. This is why many fill their lives with constant entertainment, social interactions, and distractions. They fear what they might find if they sit in silence. But the truth is, whatever you run from in solitude is exactly what you need to face. And when you do, something incredible happens. A new awareness arises. A connection to something beyond the material world begins to take shape. In solitude, you start to see life differently, not through the lens of fear, but through the clarity of truth. You begin to understand yourself beyond your name, beyond your roles, beyond what society has told you to be. You start to recognize a deeper intelligence at work in the universe, something guiding you toward growth, transformation, and purpose. If you look at the cycles of nature, you will see that everything moves through phases of solitude before renewal. The moon disappears before it returns in full brightness. The seed remains buried in darkness before it sprouts into something new. The ocean recedes before it rises in great waves. Similarly, when life pulls you into solitude, it is not an end, it is a beginning. The world values movement, activity, and external success, but the highest realization is found not in doing, but in being. And when life places you in solitude, it is an invitation not to suffer, not to feel lost, but to discover something beyond what you ever thought possible. If you embrace it, if you sit in that silence with an open heart, you may just find that everything you were searching for was never outside of you, it was within you all along. Everything in life is temporary. No matter how much you hold on, things will change. People will come and go. Situations will shift. The things you once thought were permanent will fade. And yet, human beings resist this truth. They cling, they grasp, they fight against change because they fear what will happen if they let go. But real peace is not found in holding on. It is found in surrendering to the natural flow of life. Look at the river. It does not resist when it meets a rock in its path. It does not stop and complain. It flows around it, over it, continuing its journey. The tree does not cry when its leaves fall. It knows that new ones will grow when the time is right. The clouds do not stay in one place forever. They move, they change, they dissolve. Nature does not cling, yet it never lacks. It allows life to unfold as it is meant to. But human beings struggle to trust this process. They try to control everything: relationships, outcomes, the future. They live in fear, always trying to hold on to what is slipping away. But the harder they cling, the more they suffer. Because life was never meant to be controlled, it was meant to be experienced. When life places you in solitude, it is often teaching you to let go. Let go of attachments, let go of expectations, let go of the need to constantly be in control. In doing so, you do not lose yourself, you find yourself. You realize that you are not defined by what you have, by who is around you, or by the things you once thought you could not live without. Freedom does not come from getting everything you want. It comes from realizing that you need nothing to please. When you are at peace with being alone, when you are no longer dependent on external circumstances for your happiness, you become unshakable. Nothing can disturb you because your peace is not built on something temporary, it is built on something eternal. So, if life has placed you in a moment of solitude, do not fight it. Do not resist. It is not a punishment, it is a path to freedom. Let go, surrender, and trust. Because when you stop grasping, when you stop forcing, you will see what is truly meant for you has never left, and what is not meant for you was never yours to begin with.